2024, it's nearing its conclusion. And since 2024 was dubbed the Year of the Dragon, I'm looking to finish off a monotype run for fun one more time in Pokémon Scarlet using only dragons. Even shiny dragons. This is the type that's difficult to raise in the beginning, but once they evolve into their final forms, they have the overwhelming potential of being late-game closers. The Dragon type was the most dominant typing in all of Pokémon for the first 5 generations before the introduction of fairies came around in Generation 6. However, the Dragons remain among the best typings in all of competitive Pokémon. Even though this isn't a hardcore nuzlocke, I will try to make this as fun and challenging for me, the player, as well as interesting and enjoyable for you, the viewer. And here are the ground rules I set in place. Number 1, I will only use Dragon-type Pokémon during this run, including Pokémon that has Dragon as a secondary typing. Wild Terra Pokémon with the Dragon Terra that is not a Dragon type already will not count as eligible encounters. Second, I'm abiding by the Obedience Threshold level cap, which starts at 20 and maxes out at 100 after claiming 8 gym badges, but I will freeze it at level 75 to avoid excessive overleveling after defeating the 8th gym in preparation for the final boss. Third, I'm installing this nuzlocke rule that if any dragon is to faint during an important battle, they are permanently boxed and will not be used again. And finally, I'm installing a brand new rule. If I were to encounter a shiny Pokémon that is not a dragon, I have to hunt for a shiny dragon. Well, I let this intro drag on long enough. It's time to get things rolling. I went with the female avatar once again for this playthrough of Scarlet, making it look as close as it can to one of my favorite all-time trainers in the Unova region, Iris. None of the starters gain Dragon as a secondary typing, but I went with Sprigatito. That way Nemona gets Quaxly. Considering its final evolution, Quackable will have the Ice Spinner move in its moveset. After feeding the weakened box legendary Koraidon a sandwich, it was time to really get to work. As my first dragon of choice is Gumi. I managed to catch Gumi in this Ultra Ball after doing that speedrunner's trick to get across and gain access to the entire open world of Paldea. I nicknamed it Blanca, and after finally reaching Megazagoza and got the Terra Orb from Nemona, the days quickly flew by, and I was ready to start yet another treasure hunt. To further aid my cause in my newest monotype run for fun rule, I decided to meet up with Professor Jock after doing some Pokemon home organizing to obtain the shiny charm. And then I hatched 3 eggs, all with dragons, 2 of them being Violet exclusives, like this Dreepy, which I nicknamed after Chun-Li. Then I hatched an egg for another Violet exclusive, Bagon, which I nicknamed Ken. But the most important of the 3 dragon eggs was this one, as I hatched this Pokémon Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disc DLC exclusive, one of the staples of the Galar region, Duraludon. Having a dragon type that also has the secondary steel typing is going to pay off in the long run. This Duraludon also came hatched with the Steel Terra and the attack-boosting Naughty Nature. This Duraludon also came with the Light Metal ability, which is very important the moment I put Duraludon into my main Scarlet save file, fed it a metal alloy to evolve it into its new Generation 9 evolution, Archaludon. Light Metal now becomes the Stamina ability, which increases Archaludon's defense every time an opposing Pokemon hits it with an attack. And it also, by evolution, gains the 130 base power electric move, Electro Shot. For the first time since my inaugural playthrough of Pokémon Scarlet, I decided to challenge Stony Cliff Titan Claw first, considering Archaludon has the type advantage being a steel type. This second Metal Claw set up the second phase of the bout, where Cloth's health bar is 2 times larger. I also get some help from Arvin and his shoulder as I terrestrialize Archelodon into a Terra Steel type. Claw first attacked Archelodon, which I nicknamed Bison, with Rock Tomb, which immediately activates Archelodon's stamina ability, boosting its defense by a stage. The first Metal Claw missed, but the second double stab Terra boosted Metal Claw drove Cloth's HP deep into the orange, also proccing Cloth's Anger Shell ability, but it was too little too late, as this final Metal Claw soundly defeated Cloth, giving me my first badge of the run. This is merely scratching the surface of just how awesome Archelodon truly is. And while traveling Paldea heading towards Cortundo to go after Bug Gym Leader Katie next, I ran into a Charm Odds Shiny Hoppip. So you know what that means for the future of this run. After catching this shiny Hoppip, which I can't even use in a quick ball, I finally arrived in the city of Cortundo. But then I made a long travel to Zapapico to pick up the Rocky Helmet. I forgot to attach the Rocky Helmet onto Archelodon for this first gym battle against Katie, but as you will see, I really didn't need it, considering after I charged up Archelodon's attack and accuracy by a stage with Hone Claws, Archelodon's defense got boosted 2 stages thanks to Nimble hitting Double Kick. After lowering the defense of Nimble with Leer, I finally decided to attack with a Metal Claw that one-shots Nimble. Another Metal Claw also took care of Tarantula, and for Katie's ace Bug Terra Teddiursa, I decided to terrestrialize Archelodon into a Terra Steel type, considering Archelodon resists both of Teddiursa's moves, Fury Swipes and Fury Cutter, making this for a completely free KO and the easiest gym battle of the run. By virtue of defeating a gym in Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, the obedience level cap raises 5 levels, so now it's at 25, and I immediately went to Artisan Town to go after my second gym badge, taking on Grass Gym Leader Brassius. I led with Ken the Bagon, giving Bagon the opportunity to contribute to the team for the first time, setting up the sun with Sunny Day to power up its Ember, after Petalil missed its first attempt at putting Bagon to sleep. The Mega Drain did nothing, and after taking 2 more Embers, Petalil was done for, even though it did connect with Sleep Powder on its second attempt, but I came prepared in giving Bagon a Chesto Berry. The harsh sunlight faded after Bagon hit Ember on Brassius' second Pokemon, the Gen 9 entry, Smoliv. So I set the sun back up, and eventually, Smoliv was burnt to a crisp as well. Brassius' only Pokemon remaining is Grass Terra Sudowoodo. So I decided to bring in the early MVP for this run so far, Bison the Archelodon, who I terrestrialized into a Terra Steel type once again. And knowing that Sudowoodo only has 2 attacks, being Rock Throw for Rock type stab, and the new Gen 9 move Trailblaze for Grass Terra stab, it made perfect sense to give Archelodon the Rocky Helmet. That way Sudowoodo does damage to itself. And since the Steel typing resists Grass and Rock, Brassius was left without any options, considering every time Sudowoodo makes contact with Archelodon, Archelodon's defense gets increased with stamina, and on top of that, Sudowoodo's doing even more damage to itself. Sudowoodo was brought down to 1 HP with a +2 Metal Claw set up by Hone Claws before Sudowoodo's final Trailblaze ending up knocking itself out. Make it 3 badges in a row thanks to Bison the Archelodon, as now the obedience threshold level cap jumps up to 30. But Archelodon's reign of terror is not about to end very soon, as we next targeted the Open Sky Titan Bombardier. Another matchup where Archelodon has the advantage thanks to its Steel typing, considering Bombardier has Rock Throw, Wing Attack, and Pluck, moves all resisted, making it easy for Archaludon to show everyone its new move, the Gen 9 electric move, Electro Shot. That is a 2-turn attack and base 130 power, evidenced how it one-shot the foul creature, setting it up to the second phase, the only Titan battle where you are not allowed to heal in between phases. Electro Shot also has the added effect for Archaludon's special attack to be increased by 1. One more firing of supercharged watts later, and down goes the Open Sky Titan. Now with 4 badges in my possession, I went out to go after some more dragons, considering my next target is the Team Star Dark Base. Wanting to beef up my team of dragons, I made a Dragon Level 2 Encounter Power Sandwich near the Ice Ren Shrine, hoping for some shiny luck, but I wasn't able to get it on this exchange. But I did manage to find a Gibble, a Cyclizar, and an Axew, nicknaming them Ryu, Guile, and Vega respectively. I pretty much believe you know what my nickname theme is for this run. But before challenging the Team Star Dark Base, I headed up to the East Province Area 3 Desert to get the TM for Brick Break. And with my obedience level cap still at 30, Ryu evolves at level 24 into Gabite. However, Axew got the call to lead for this battle, as it's time to wipe the second squad off the map as we take on Team Star Dark Leader Giacomo. His first Pokemon Poniard isn't the problem here. After it struck first with Metal Claw, Axew claps back with a quad-effective Brick Break. And now for our first true battle of attrition, dealing with the second Starmobile, who struck hard on Axew with this Wicked Torque, driving Vega to 21 HP, before Brick Break in retaliation took off a nice chunk of that health bar, as I now subbed in Bison to Archaludon to take the next Wicked Torque, boosting Archaludon's defense by a stage with Stamina. Archaludon's defense was going to get boosted every single turn from here on out, which is why the second Starmobile switched it up to a special attack and Snarl. Since I taught Axew the Brick Break TM, the best attack for Archaludon that could do super effective damage was Rock Smash. Another Rock Smash finally dropped the defense of the Starmobile, taking it down to its last hit point. Dodging one Snarl attack definitely helped, as this final Rock Smash secured the victory over our first Team Star base, getting us our 5th badge in this Pokemon Scarlet Dragon-only run. After beating 5 trainers in the Asado Desert to get the TM for Earthquake, it was once again time to enter the Iono Zone. This is where Gabite can take center stage, as it leads off against Iono's first Pokemon, Wattrel, an electric flying type. Gabite took out Wattrel on the first hit with Rock Slide, another TM that I found while in the desert at East Province Area 3. Despite its attack stat getting lowered, one Earthquake was still enough to drop Luxio, and it took 2 Earthquakes to put down the bulky Belly Bolts. Dealing with Iono's first 3 Pokemon is rarely problematic unless if you were doing a water or a flying monotype run. But when it comes to dealing with the real threat in this gym battle, Iono's ace Pokemon Mismagius, you always have to come with a plan, considering Mismagius gets all of its weaknesses removed the moment Iono terrestrializes my favorite ghost type in all of Pokemon into Terra Electric due to its levitating ability. I started out by subbing in Cyclizar and immediately switching back into Gabite, but Iono completely called my bluff by using Confuse Ray first, so I subbed Gabite back out and brought in Cyclizar to taunt Mismagius to prevent Mismagius from using Confuse Ray for the next 3 turns. I also brought in Cyclizar to terrestrialize it into a Terra Normal type, considering Mismagius' other move is Hex, which can't hit normal type Pokemon. For the next 2 turns, I traded attacks with Mismagius, weakening the Ghost with Breaking Swipe. And on both turns, Mismagius retaliated by using the Electric Terra Charge Beam, which has a small chance of increasing Mismagius' special attack by a stage. Now that the taunt turns were up, I taunted Mismagius again, and it worked considering Mismagius went for Confuse Ray. Knowing that a Charge Beam was incoming, I brought in Gabite, considering Ground-type Pokemon are immune to electric attacks, However, this Magus is still faster and did some substantial damage with Hex, before Gabite retaliated with Dragon Breath, but was not able to get the paralysis. I brought in Axew to take the next hit, and Hex hit hard once again, forcing me to sub out Axew and bring back in the already terrestrialized Cyclizar. After dodging that final Hex due to normal type immunity, the last breaking swipe from Cyclizar got us the victory and our third gym badge, increasing our obedience level cap to 35. Even Iono said it best. If any of you found our electrifying battle to be shocking, go smash that subscribe button. With that advertising plug out of the way, it's time to head over to the Team Star Firebase to take on the Shutter Squad leader Mela. Mela's first Pokemon, Torkoal, sets up the sun upon entry with its Drought ability. All you have to do for this battle is bring in a Pokemon that knows Rain Dance to wash the drought away, cutting down the power of Fire-type moves by 50% like Torkoal's Flame Wheel. I tried to set up Gabite's offense with Swords Dance, but that boost immediately got brought back down to neutral when Torkoal used its only other move, Clear Smog. So my only option was to simply send it and knock out the bulky Torkoal with 2 Earthquakes. I'm now freely able to set up Gabite's attack stat by boosting it by 2 stages with Swords Dance. The Shutter Starmobile lowered the defense of Gabite on its first turn by 2 stages with Screech, and after every single turn, the juiced up Revivroom gets a speed boost. Not that I needed to, I terrestrialized Ryu into a Terra Dragon type, considering that the Starmobile was going to hit first with Blazing Torque, which didn't do much damage because the rain was still in effect. After striking the Starmobile for half of its HP with Earthquake, the rain stopped, which means the next Blazing Torque, despite it being resistant, brought Gabite down to 9 HP and even got the burn. But thankfully I prepared for this scenario by giving Gabite a Rostberry to immediately cure itself. I easily could have lost Gabite if that Blazing Torque landed a critical hit, but thanks to this final Earthquake, my Dragons and I barely hang on, sending the second Team Starmobile into the junkyard, earning our 7th badge the hard way. Doing some more traveling around Paldea, I had to make a ridiculous jump on top of Koraidon to get across this river, fishing for a very important TM. Not only did Koraidon make the jump, it stuck the landing, and we were able to find that TM, that fighting special attack Aura Sphere, which I wasted no time in teaching Bison the Archludon as we next challenged the lurking Steel Titan Orthworm. As we all know by now, considering Pokémon Scarlet and Violet is 2 years old, Orthworm's physical defense is nearly at its peak, but its special defense is downright pitiful, as Bison the Archludon easily dissected Orthworm with 3 Aura Spheres for a completely free victory over a Titan, giving us our 8th badge in the run. Archludon has now taken down all 3 Titans thus far in the Path of Legends story, and as a bonus for Archludon, I stayed in the East Province Area 3 Desert to get the TM for Body Press. Remembering I ran into a random encounter Shiny Hoppin during this run, it made for the perfect time for me to head to the land of Kitakami in search of more dragons, and the hidden treasure of Area 0 Part 1, Teal Mask DLC. One of the 3 dragons I caught in Kitakami was going to be my shiny target, which actually was Jangmo-o. But while fishing for items and getting valuable TMs, I didn't need to hunt for shiny Jangmo-o anymore, considering one just simply popped out of thin air, and it turned out to be Shiny Noibat. Finally, I can use a Pokemon of a different color in a Monotype run for fun, wasting no time in catching this shiny Noibat and my favorite Pokeball of choice, the Luxury Ball. This awesome specimen from the Kalos region, which I nicknamed Cammy, came with the defense-boosting impish nature. I stayed in the Oni Mountain area for a while to pick up even more TMs and other items that were vital to my success, including this TM which I ended up teaching Noivern, Flamethrower. I then made haste over to Paradise Barrens to find myself and eventually catch a Jangmo. And then I headed over to this shack to buy syrupy apples for $500. Then made my way over to the apple orchard to catch my third dragon in Kitakami, which I could also catch in the base game, Applin. But this was a special Applin since I caught this one as a wild bug terror Applin. While progressing through the Teal Mask story, I conquered the Ogre Alston minigame on the first try. The reason for doing the Ogre Alston minigame was to get the EXP charm to further speed up the process of leveling up my dragons. I immediately made way back to my native Paldea region to collect more badges, starting with the Kaskarafa gym against water leader Kofu. I led off with Guile the Cyclozar and taught it the TM Trailblaze earned after beating Grass Gym leader Brassus back at Artisan Town. The second Trailblaze brought Veluza down to 1 HP before taking a critical hit slash, but the Sandstorm picked Veluza off for the first KO. I then brought in the most important dragon thus far, Bison the Archaludon, who's racked up some impressive victories. Even though it took a mud slap to lower its accuracy, it one-shots Wug Trio with a Thunderbolt. And just like the battle with Brassus and the Open Sky Titan Bombardier, I made sure that Archaludon was holding the Rocky Helmet, which comes in mighty handy against Kofu's ace, Water Terra Crabominable. After nailing Crabominable with the first Thunderbolt, Archaludon's second one missed due to the accuracy drop from Wug Trio's Mud Slap. I wasn't all worried in the least bit that Crabominable had Rock Smash due to the stamina ability of Archaludon, and it was the Rocky Helmet damage that led to Crabominable's demise. Now an owner of 4 gym badges and 9 badges in all, the obedience level cap rises up to 40, giving me the luxury of evolving more dragons, including Applin to its first new Gen 9 evolution, Diplin. Yes, I did say first. I put Diplin into my main Pokémon Scarlet file to make sure it learned the TM for Dragon Cheer, which is what you get after beating Elite 4 BB League member Drayton in the Indigo Disc DLC. Once Diplin knows Dragon Cheer, all you have to do is level it up once, and now you'll have my favorite Applin evolution, Hydrapple. After nicknaming Hydrapple Alex, it's time to welcome a brand new member to my dragon family with another Indigo Disc DLC exclusive. It's not a dragon right away, but it's one of the Hoenn region's most popular Pokemon in my opinion, Trapinch. I made sure I hatched this Trapinch with 2 notable egg moves, First Impression and Quick Attack, 2 priority moves, and it also came with the special attack boosting, special defense lowering Rash Nature. But my dragon family continues to grow as Ken the Bagon evolves into Shelgon, and Vega the Axew evolves into Fracture. And then, the first dragon I caught, Blanca, was about to evolve into Sliggoo, but hold up. I got something even better in mind for this Goomy. I decided to put it in Pokemon Legends Arceus via Pokemon Home Organizing. That way, Goomy evolves into Hisuian Sliggoo, giving me a second dragon with the secondary Steel typing. After nicknaming Trapinch Necalli, I was able to evolve it into Vibrava, finally giving it the dragon typing. I then evolved DJ the Jangmo into Hakamoa and headed straight for the Team Star Poison base to go up against the Navi squad leader Atticus. Usually I would have a Steel-type Pokemon to expose the flaw in the moveset of Atticus's first Pokemon Skuntank. But not on this exchange. I simply let Ryu the Gabite go on a destructive rampage, unleashing a flurry of earthquakes. Decisively strong-arming my 10th badge away from the hands of Atticus, I headed over to North Province Area 3 to do some training by knocking out some Chanseys and Blissies and leveling up my dragons when it suddenly happened. I encountered another Charm Odds non-dragon, a shiny Chansey, giving me unfortunate flashbacks to when I caught my first shiny Chansey once I purchased a Nintendo Switch playing Let's Go Pikachu. Now that I found a shiny non-dragon for the second time in this run, I now have to pursue a second shiny dragon. But before I cross that bridge, it's time to go for another gym badge. This time going up against normal-type gym leader Larry in Medali Town. I confidently kept things straightforward by bringing in Bison the Archludon to sweep the gym, using Iron Defense twice to boost its defense by 4 stages, and after briefly being put to sleep by Kamala's Jean, I was able to shake it off by simply giving Archludon a Chesto Berry. It was also a great opportunity to teach Archludon the TM Body Press, a fighting type attack that increases in power whenever the Pokemon's defense stats are boosted. After Komala and the Dunsparce got squashed, Larry's third and final Pokemon, Normal Terrastar Raptor, unfortunately for Larry, gave Archludon another boost with the Normal Terra Facade. With the Iron Defense now at +5, it made for another easy victory, giving me my 5th gym badge win, and the obedience level cap is now at 45. Continuing my quest of wanting to rule the Paldea region using only dragons, I caught the Scarlet exclusive Dino and nicknamed it Gil. Then I headed up to Glaciatus Graps to find the Gen 9 pseudo-legendary Frigibax, which thankfully came with the Ice Terra, and it has the attack boosting, defense lowering Lonely Nature, plus a unique ability Thermal Exchange, which prevents Frigibax from ever being burned, and its attack stat gets boosted whenever Frigibax is hit with a Fire-type move. My shiny hunting sense kicked in as a mass outbreak for Altaria appeared near Alphanata Town. But along the way there, I evolved Frigibax, nicknamed after E Honda, into Arctibax. While clearing out 60 Altaria in the mass outbreak spot, I leveled up DJ to the obedience level cap of 45, where it evolves into the Alola region pseudo-legendary Komodo. And after a few hours of searching, I found my golden ticket. It would have been slightly easier for me to hunt for a shiny Swablu during this run, but Swablu is a normal flying type and doesn't gain the dragon typing until level 35 when it evolves into this amazing Altaria, another one of my favorite Pokemon that ever came out of the Hoenn region. I saved the game to lock in the fact that I now have a second shiny dragon in this Pokémon Scarlet dragon-only monotype run for fun. After catching this shiny Altaria in a luxury ball, I was so pleased to know that I have my favorite shiny flying type in all of Pokemon, with the Dragon Terra and the special defense boosting Careful Nature. Now it's time for me to enter back into serious business of badge collecting, with my next target being Montenevera Town, going up against the MIC of RIP, Ghost Gym Leader Rhyme in a double battle. I elected to begin this bout with Guile the Cyclizar and one of my newer dragons, Gil the Dino, which also happens to be a dark type. I immediately terrestrialized Dino on turn 1. I had Cyclizar use Breaking Swipe against Rhyme's first 2 Pokemon, one of which being the part Fairy-type Mimikyu, who's immune to Dragon-type attacks. But that Breaking Swipe was used for the sole purpose of getting rid of Rhyme's other lead Pokemon, Banette, which Dino did with a crunch. And as Rhyme brought out Houndstone, the crowd went wild. Considering I terrestrialized on turn 1, Both my Pokemon got an Omni boost for all 5 of their stats. I then shifted my focus to getting rid of Houndstone immediately, considering it has the fairy move Play Rough, super effective against both Dino and Cyclizar. Any fairy move is also quad effective against Dino, which is the main reason why I terrestrialized Dino instead of Cyclizar. After a crunch got rid of Houndstone, Rhyme was down to her last Pokemon, being Ghost Terror Toxtricity, even though Mimikyu was still on the field. And as Rhyme terrestrialized her ace, I made the calculated decision of subbing out Cyclizar by hitting U-turn on Mimikyu, which busted Mimikyu's disguise, bringing in a safe switch for Ryu the Gabite, as Dino scored a 3rd consecutive KO in this bout, destroying Toxtricity with Crunch. Mimikyu tried to put up a valiant fight, greeting Gabite with a critical hit slash, and as the crowd goes wild again, Dino got a 3rd boost to its attack stats, and the same went for Gabite. Crunch is normally 100% accurate, but it missed Mimikyu this time, considering Dino has the Hustle ability, which increases attack power but lowers the accuracy of the Pokemon with that ability. The crowd went wild for a 3rd time during this gym battle, this time giving Gabite and Dino a boost to their speed stats. I subbed Ryu out and brought in Nikali the Vibrava, allowing for Dino to secure the victory, delivering a 4th and final crunch to eliminate Mimikyu, which means Dino successfully and simultaneously knocked out all 4 of Rhyme's Pokemon. Continuing to climb up the Obedience Threshold level cap ladder, it is now at level 50, as I found 2 crucial TMs in Dragon Dance and Flash Cannon, which I taught to Archaludon. And also I was able to evolve some dragons, as Ryu evolved into Garchomp, Gil evolves into Swilus, Vega evolves into Haxorus, Ken evolves right at the level cap of 50 into Salamence, Chun-Li evolves into Dracloak, Nikali evolves into Flygon, and Cammy evolves into this gorgeous, shiny Noivern. Now I headed back up to Alfrenauter Town to go after my penultimate gym badge, number 7, against Psychic Gym Leader Tulip. Ken the Salamence was first up to drop an Intimidate on Tulip's lead Pokemon Fergarath. Then I immediately subbed Salamence out and brought in the now evolved Swilus to dodge the Zen Headbutt, considering Dark types are immune to Psychic type attacks. After Swilus's crunch took Fergarath to the red, I made another early sub and brought in Luke the shiny Altaria. After taking a crunch, I had Altaria set up its defense to +6 by using Cotton Guard, which drastically increases the defense stat of the Pokemon that uses it by 3 stages. After putting the long-necked giraffe to sleep with Sing, it was time for Altaria to start the dance party. I had Altaria set up its attack and speed stat all the way to +5 by using Dragon Dance 5 times, even after Fergarath got the first turn wake up and delivered a flurry of Zen Headbutts. With Luke's defense completely maxed out, it would have to take for every single Zen Headbutt attack from Fergarath to be a critical hit in order to put Altaria in any real danger. And once Altaria was done Dragon Dancing, it started a new dance party on the head of Fergarath, Gardevoir, Espathra, and Psychic Terraflorges with 4 rounds of acrobatics, closing out a dominant gym victory, giving me 7 gym badges, and the obedience level cap is now at 55. The 2 most deadly matchups for my dragons are soon to come, but the battle with the quaking Earth Titan Great Tusk is not one of them. This is the debut fight for Alex the Hydrapple, who contributes right off the bat on its first attack, destroying Great Tusk with Energy Ball. And for the second phase, we get a little bit of help from Arvin and his Scovillain. An explosive Syrup Bomb detonates on Great Tusk, cutting off over half of its health bar. Syrup Bomb is a signature attack for Hydrapple, which lowers the opposing Pokemon's speed for 3 straight turns after Syrup Bomb connects. Hydrapple concluded matters on the very next turn with this critical hit Giga Drain to score another convincing victory for my Dragons. Now with 14 badges in tow, the remaining battles from here on out are going to get a lot more difficult. Now that I'm in the stretch run, I only have a few Dragon encounters left to add to my family. And I decided to go after now my favorite Dragon of all, which just so happens to be Dragonite. But I found this level 54 Dragonair with the Electric Terra. Welcome to the family, Dragonair, as I managed to catch the Kanto region stud in a luxury ball. This Dragonair comes with the special attack boosting, defense lowering, mild nature, and the Electric Terra will come in handy down the line. As you noticed, one of the moves on Dragonair is Rain Dance. It takes for the weather to rain to evolve Sliggoo or this Hisuian Sliggoo I have, my precious Blanca, into Hisuian Goodra. Time to attempt to conquer one of the Dragon type's worst fear in all of Pokemon, Ice types, as we go up against Ice Gym Leader Grusha on top of Glaciato Mountain. Cammy, my shiny Noivern, is one of many dragons I have currently that is quad weak to ice, but it's the fastest dragon I have in the rotation, easily taking down Frostmoth with a quad effective flamethrower, forcing Grusha to bring in Beartic, who instantly got wiped out by a Drain Punch from DJ the Komodo. I then brought out Bison the Archaludon to deal with Grusha's last 2 ice types, finishing off Titan in one hit with a powerful flash cannon. Titan is bulky, but it doesn't have the best of defenses, especially dealing with Steel-type Pokemon. I terrestrialize Archaludon against Grusha's ace, his own Altaria, which terrestrializes into an Ice type. All 4 of Altaria's moves are resisted by Steel types. After softening up Altaria's defense with Metal Sound, a terrestrialized double-stab flash cannon gets the victory for my Dragons. And now we have claimed all 8 gym badges, raising the obedience threshold level cap to 100. But as per the rules of my monotype runs for fun, I'm going to freeze it at level 75. After receiving the TM for the new Gen 9 Ice Move Ice Spinner from Grusha, I was greeted inside the Glaciato Gym by top champion Gita and Nemona, who reminds me that I'm now eligible to challenge the Pokemon League. But before we go there, we still have 3 more badges to collect, starting with taking down the False Dragon Titan, which I left entirely up to Alex the Hydrapple. After being paralyzed by Dondozo's first body slam, Hydrapple managed to tough it out and eventually take down the first part of this bout by defeating Dondozo with Giga Drain to set up the second phase, where we are matched up, teaming with Arven and his Greedent. I terrestrialized Hydrapple into a Terra Bug type, using one of Pokemon X and Y Bug Gym Leader Viola's main tricks, Infestation. That way Dondozo suffers passive damage on every single turn as long as it has HP left. I then weakened Dondozo even further with Hydrapple's signature Syrup Bomb. And as Dondozo was taken deep into the red by Infestation, the rest of his HP got sapped away by Giga Drain. Dondozo has been defeated, but this is the only Titan battle in Pokémon Scarlet and Violet where there are 3 phases, as the real Dragon Titan Tatsukiri comes to battle. Once again, I terrestrialized Hydrapple into a Terra Bug type and used Infestation on turn 1, considering Tatsugiri has Icy Wind, which is quad effective if I didn't terrestrialize Hydrapple, and it also hits Arven's Greedent simultaneously, which also lowers the speed of both opposing Pokemon. I retaliated by having Hydrapple use its other signature move, the Dragon Special Attack Fickle Beam, which has a 70% chance, as you saw, for the move to inflict damage at 80 base power, and a 30% chance for it to double and inflict damage at base 160 power. I had Hydrapple finish off the fight by using Giga Drain to heal up, but it was Arven's Greedent that got the KO with Takedown, sacrificing itself in the process due to recoil damage. We're now up to 16 badges claimed, and all 5 Titans have been compromised. And speaking of Titans, I decided to catch, from its Titan spot, this curly-form Tatsugiri. After defeating all 5 Titans in Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, you can go back to their spot and catch them. And they have insane stats. All 6 of their stats are set to Fantastic, which is second best to having all 6 Ivies at best. And they also come with the Titan Mark. The only 2 battles I have left before closing out all 3 major storylines in this Pokémon Scarlet Dragon only run are the Team Star bases, and near the Fairy base, I managed to catch my final encounter for this run, this Skrelp. I nicknamed this Skrelp Ibuki. It's a water poison type, but it loses the water typing the moment it evolves into Dragalge. And now that we're once again on the subject of evolutions, Akuma, which I nicknamed this Dragonair I caught, evolves into Dragonite. Honda, the Arctobax, evolves into Baxcalibur, which upon evolution learns its signature move, Glaive Rush. And finally, for now, Chun-Li evolves into Dragapult. My strategic mind was put to the test against the dragon's other crippling weakness, Fairy types, as I headed over to the Rugbus Squad base to face off against Ortega. My Hisuian Goodra decided to be quite the charmer against Ortega's lead Pokemon Azumarill by using Charm 3 times to lower Azumarill's attack stat to a -6, which is tantamount considering Azumarill has the ability Huge Power, which doubles Azumarill's attack stats. After using Charm 3 times, I had Blanca protect itself on the 4th turn to elude Azumarill's 3rd attempt at using Play Rough. And Goodra's HP was all the way back up to full, considering I had Hisuian Goodra hold the leftovers item. I then subbed out Goodra and brought in Ibuki to Dragalge to start setting up some toxic spikes, while recovering damage done from Azumarill's Play Rough with Black Sludge, a held item that damages other types but heals poison types. Once the double layer of toxic spikes was laid down, I executed my venomous plan by first badly poisoning Azumarill with Toxic. I then had Dragalge unleash the poison special attack Venoshock, which is base 65 power, but doubles to 130 whenever the opposing Pokemon hit with Venoshock is already poisoned. After Azumarill went down, Ortega's next 2 Pokemon, Wigglytuff and Dachsbun, got poisoned on arrival by stepping on the toxic spikes before they each got eradicated by a Venoshock from Dragalge. However, Team Starmobiles cannot be status, which eliminates the toxic spike strategy altogether. After taking a magical torque, Dragalge was brought down to the orange of his health bar, so I made another substitution and brought in Bison the Archaludon. Before going out, Dragalge took off half of the HP of the Rugbus Starmobile with a Sludge Bomb. Now, the Starmobile was resorting to its Confuse Ray tactics after removing its Misty Surge by using a resisted Steel Roller on Archaludon. Bison was not phased in the least bit, lowering the defense of the Starmobile by 2 stages with Metal Sound, and then I terrestrialized Archaludon. It once again broke through confusion and hit this double-stab Terra-boosted Flash Cannon to send the 4th Team Starmobile into the scrap heap. My Dragons cleared another big hurdle, and with 1 badge to go, we quickly made our way through the Bamboo Forest of North Province Area 2 to raid the final Team Star base, challenging Cap Squad leader Aerie, a master of fighting types. All of Aries' fighting Pokemon except for Lucario is weak to flying types, which made it easier for me to bring out my own fearsome flyer in Cammy the Shining Noivern, who put out Toxicroak with the combination of Air Slash and Dragon Pulse. Aries' biggest threat other than the Starmobile is Annihilate, considering it has the super effective Ice Punch. However, Ken the Salamence proved it was tougher by destroying Annihilate with back-to-back Zen Headbutts. Having Intimidate on Salamence definitely helped in the battle with Annihilate. It also helps having Garchomp on your team to take Lucario out with an Earthquake, considering Lucario has Dragon Pulse. Passimian could still pose a threat, considering it has Rock Tomb. Passimian managed to get 2 Rock Tombs off in a row, considering the first one lowered Dragonite's speed, before Akuma wiped out Passimian by whipping up a 100% accurate Hurricane, which was set up by Dragonite using Rain Dance the moment I subbed out Garchomp. And now we deal with the Cap Starmobile. The Pokemon I used as my closer for this bout is Luke the Shiny Altaria. The Starmobile sets up its own attack by 1 stage and its speed by 2 stages by using Shift Gear. So I had Altaria use Cotton Guard to boost its own defense drastically by 3 stages. And then I had Altaria set up its attack and speed stat to a +3 by using Dragon Dance 3 times, considering on all 3 turns, the Starmobile lowered its own speed by 6 stages with Spin Out. Once Altaria's HP went to under half, that's when I had Altaria let loose with Acrobatics. Even though the defense got increased by attacking the Starmobile with Stamina, it tried to build its speed back up again with Shift Gear, which meant Airy throned the match. 1 more Acrobatics from Shiny Altaria earned us our 18th and final badge. After Airy awarded us the TM for close combat, I leveled up all the dragons I caught or hatched to level 65, and at level 64, Gil evolved from Swineless to Hydreigon. My dragons and I simply cannot wait to get to the Pokemon League, but I elected to finish the Starfall Street and Path of Legends storylines first. Accepting the challenge and facing Director Clavel in front of the Raja Academy, Gil the Hydreigon was the table setter, setting up its own special attack by 2 stages with Nasty Plot before one-shotting Oranguru with Dark Pulse. Shiny Noivern torched Abomasnow with a sun-boosted flamethrower. Archaludon got rid of Gyarados. Dragapult's Dragon Darts put down Poltergeist. Altaria eliminated Amoonguss, and a double dose of Earthquakes from Garchomp befelled the mighty Skeledirge. The rampage of my dragons continued against Penny and her team of evolutions. I led off the battle with Dragalge to set up 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, poisoning every single evolution that came into battle except for Penny's lead Umbreon. Then Flygon, Hisuian Gudra, Garchomp, and Salamence did the rest of the work, being completely oblivious to the shady baby doll eyes tactic that Penny loves to employ. I soundly defeated both Clavel and Penny without suffering a loss of a dragon, and as Penny gave me the TM for Draco Meteor, that concludes the Starfall Street saga. I then was challenged by Arvin in front of the Pocopath Lighthouse for the final part of the Path of Legends storyline. DJ the Kamoo, Cammy the Shiny Noivern, Ryu the Garchomp, and the former Titan Tatsugiri, which I nicknamed Dowsum, set the tone for Bison the Archaludon to once again close out an important battle during this run, blasting Arvin's precious Mabostiff with a Hyper Beam to close out the Path of Legends. And now it's Victory Road time. Hoping that I make Unova Region Champion Iris proud, I headed straight for the Pokemon League, where I will now aim to become Paldea Region Champion and the ultimate master of using Dragon-type Pokemon in Pokémon Scarlet. The second I entered that front door to take the champion assessment, which of course I was going to pass easily, and eventually the Elite Test, where I take on the Elite Four, there was no turning back. Every single member of the Paldea Elite Four and Type Champion Gita has Pokemon with Ice and Fairy type coverage. Not to mention, Dragon is one of the 2 types in all of Pokemon that is super effective against each other, the other being Ghost types. Knowing that this gauntlet was going to push my Dragons to the ultimate limits, I made a bold statement against Rika, the first member of the Elite Four and a master of ground types, considering her first Pokemon Whiscash has the Ice move Blizzard. That statement was starting with Alex the Hydrapple, a grass and dragon type that is quad weak to ice. As long as Whiscash's Blizzard didn't crit, I felt I'd be alright for the remainder of this bout. The Blizzard connected and thankfully didn't freeze Alex, allowing for Hydrapple to put Whiscash to sleep with Yawn on the second turn, protecting on turn 2 after Whiscash grew drowsy. From that point, the rest of the bout was completely academic after Hydrapple obliterated Whiscash with a quad-effective Giga Drain. Garchomp won an Earthquake battle with Donphan. Cyclizar one-shot Doug Trio with Ice Spinner. Camerupt was washed away by Tatsugiri's Waves, and Rika's ace Pokemon Ground Terra Clodsire could not withstand the Icicle Crash coming from Baxcalibur, who was holding a Choice Scarf. Next up is Steel Master Poppy, whose lead Pokemon Capraja has the Fairy move Play Rough, but the Ironclad Elephant never got a chance to show what it can do as it got deleted on the first turn by Garchomp's Earthquake. 2 Thunderbolts from Archaludon zapped Corviknight. Bronzong got one shot by Hydreigon's Dark Pulse, and as far as sturdy Magnezone is concerned, I had the perfect counter with the mold-breaking Haxorus, who one-shot Magnezone with a quad-effective Earthquake, considering Mold Breaker ruins the other abilities of Pokemon. The combination of Shiny Noivern and Archaludon was all I needed to take out Poppy's ace Pokemon, Steel Terra Tinkaton. Archaludon's defense got 2 boosts thanks to Tinkaton delivering back-to-back resistant moves, Gigaton and Stone Edge, before it got absolutely crushed by Archaludon's Body Press. This is the part of the entire Elite Four challenge where Baxcalibur owns the rest of the run all the way to the top of the Pokemon League. Against normal-type gym leader turned flying-type Elite Four leader Larry, I gave Baxcalibur the Choice Scarf to ensure it moves faster against all of Larry's Pokemon. I briefly subbed out Baxcalibur and brought in Dragapult to dodge Staraptor's close combat due to Ghost-type immunity, then weakened Staraptor with Will-O-Wisp to cut down Staraptor's attack power, then subbed out doing some chip damage with U-Turn, and then Baxcalibur continued its rampage. I also had Dragapult hold a Rocky Helmet, that way Staraptor did extra damage to itself by using Brave Bird, which also does recoil damage to the Pokemon that uses Brave Bird. Staraptor and Larry's lead Pokemon Tropheus both went down to Icicle Crashes, and the same can be said for Altaria, Pom-Pom style Oricorio, and Larry's new ace, Flying Terra Flamigo. That's 3 Elite Four members down, and 1 more left to go, which just so happens to be Hassel, the master of dragon types. Keeping the Choice Scarf on Baxcalibur for this fight was a wise decision, considering the only 2 Pokemon on Hassel's team that is faster without the Scarf is his first Pokemon Noivern and Haxorus. Then Baxcalibur proceeded to run through all 5 of Hassel's dragons, including his own Baxcalibur, with the signature move Glaive Rush, a base 120 power dragon physical attack. If they survive the attack, the opposing Pokemon gets to do double damage and its attack will not miss. But Baxcalibur cannot be stopped, and the Elite Four have all been conquered. It's been one marvelous ride as I look to become champion of the Paldea region, challenging top champion Gita with these 6 dragon Pokemon. Chun-Li the Dragapult, wearing a Choice Scarf. DJ the Komodo wearing a black belt. Luke the shiny Altaria holding a Roselli berry. Bison the Archaludon wearing a rocky helmet. Ken the intimidating Salamence holding a King's Rock. And Ryu the Garchomp wearing a muscle band. As usual, Gita leads off with a Spathra. I chose to begin with Chun-Li the Dragapult, moving fast on the first turn by holding a Choice Scarf, using the 2-turn Phantom Force to elude a Spathra's super effective Dazzling Gleam before delivering the knockout blow. Figuring that Gita was going to bring out Go-Goat with the super effective fairy move Play Rough next, I brought out my counter to Go-Goat, being Luke the shiny Altaria. I boosted Altaria's defense on the first turn by 3 stages with Cotton Guard, and by holding the Roselli Berry, the damage done by Play Rough was weakened. Now that Altaria isn't holding an item, it powers up its flying type move Acrobatics, a base 55 power move if an item is being held. It doubles in power whenever Altaria or any Pokemon with the move is not holding an item. Speaking of items, I was hoping for that King's Rock flinch on Veluza with Salamence using Shadow Claw. After surviving an Ice Fang, Salamence got the 3rd KO for this bout with Crunch. And knowing that Salamence is 4 times weak to ice, Gita brought out Avalugg 4th. And considering the Big Iceberg is notoriously weak in special defense, it made it that simple for me to exploit that by bringing in Bison the Archaludon to one-shot Avalugg with a Flash Cannon to its dome piece. King Gambit was the next to fall, courtesy of an Earthquake from Garchomp. My dragons and I are on the brink of becoming Paldea region champions, and the only Pokemon remaining for top champion Gita is her ace, Rock Terra Glamora, which does have the fairy move Dazzling Gleam, which is why I terrestrialized DJ the Komodo to be just a dragon type to eliminate its quad weakness to fairy type moves. But Glamora never stood a chance. By virtue of Komodo's black belt boosted close combat, Glamora showered the field with toxic spikes before it went kaboom, giving me the title of Paldea Region Champion. The Naraja Academy has yet another trainer to be proud of, as top champion Gita is forced to acknowledge that dragon types still rule in the Pokemon world. Now, in a battle for all of Paldea to bear witness to, I battled fellow champion Nemona in the Mesagoza Battle Court for the right to be called the ultimate champion of Paldea. This bout pitted 2 of Alola's most popular Pokemon against each other, but my Komodo is so much better than Nemona's midday Lycanroc. Holding a Choice Scarf, Komodo wipes out Lycanroc with close combat. The same fate was in store for Nemona's second Pokemon, 3-segmented Dunsparce, as it also got wiped out by Haxorus's close combat. Out third for Nemona was her own Gudra, the traditional one from the Kalos region, but it was no match for Dragapult's signature move Dragon Dart. Nemona was forced to finally call upon her trusted Pawmot, which does have Ice Punch, but Pawmot never got a chance to make a single move as it got dropped where it stood in one decisive blow from Garchomp's Earthquake. A familiar adversary shrunk down to size as Nemona's Orthworm, but just like the lurking Steel Titan, it too got demolished in a single hit from Aurasphere by Bison the Archaludon, as I finally decided to bring in Dragonite to finish off this fight against Nemona's ace Pokemon, her starter, Quackavole. I terrestrialized Dragonite into a Terra Electric type. I also made sure that Dragonite was holding the Wide Lens to increase the accuracy of Thunder, the first attack that I was looking to drop on the head of Quackavole. It connected, but left Quackavole down to the limits of its HP, deep into the red, as Nemona shockingly went for Aqua Step instead of Ice Spinner. Aqua Step gives Quackable a speed boost, but extreme speed is always first priority, giving Dragonite the bragging rights and a victory for my Dragons, becoming the ultimate champion of the Paldea region, continuing my undefeated streak against Nemona, and putting a fitting end to the Victory Road storyline after we both extended olive branches to each other. Still, there is only one battle left. Now that all 3 major storylines are officially done in my Pokémon Scarlet Dragon-only run, I still have every single dragon that I have caught or hatched from an egg in my rotation, as I took the call from Arvin and helped them out on the way home to Area 0. For the final fight that is to come, I only brought one Pokemon from the battle with Champion Nemona that closed out the Victory Road story, which is Haxorus. So I decided to bring along with me 5 dragons that I have not used much during this run, as I challenge Professor AI Sada in the hopes of saving the Paldea region from certain destruction. Speaking of destruction, there are 2 Pokemon on Sada's team that can be devastating to my dragons, being Screamtail and Roaring Moon. Fluttermane is also a part fairy type, being the ghost, but it does not have fairy moves in its move slot. On the line for me is my 3rd straight Monotype run for fun without suffering a loss of a Pokemon, and my first dragon that gets its chance to shine, literally, is Cammy, my shiny Noivern. I felt the need for speed against Sada, which is why I elected to start with Noivern against her lead Pokemon, Slitherwing. Noivern whipped up a Hurricane for an early one-hit knockout to start this fight off, wiping out Slitherwing with a move that's normally 70% accurate. Predictably, Sada brought out Screamtail second, so my strategy in taking Screamtail down was to wear it down by not attacking at all with Hisuian Goodra. Since Screamtail has a full attack set, and its attack stat is definitely not the best among any of the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon, it made it the perfect choice to have Hisuian Goodra hold the Rocky Helmet, having Screamtail do more damage to itself than it could ever do to Hisuian Goodra, who lowers the attack stat all the way down to a full -6 on Screamtail with 3 straight charms. Then after that was done, I had Hisuian Goodra set up its defense all the way up to +6 by using Shelter 3 times. Even though Screamtail continued to spam Drain Punch to gain healing, the Rocky Helmet damage was doing a lot more than Screamtail could actually heal itself, making this strategic call very efficient. And once Screamtail was down to literally its last hit point, I had Hisuian Goodra finally put Screamtail out of its misery with Iron Head. Time for another strategic call to be placed into action, as I brought out Ibuki the Dragalge to square off against the Ancient Amoonguss Brute Bonnet. And since the Bonnet has Sucker Punch in its moveset, a Dark-type move that only has 5 power points, I had Dragalge set up its evasiveness on all 5 turns with Double Team, which will make Ibuki pretty hard to hit. The only other moves Brute Bonnet has is the ground special move Earth Power, which amazingly Sada did not use during this battle, considering how Dragalge is so good in special defense, Giga Drain, and Payback. The first Giga Drain from Brute Bonnet connected before I had Dragalge badly poison the part grass type with Toxic. I used another Double Team to get the evasiveness all the way to +6 after the next Giga Drain missed its mark. Giga Drain missed again, and then I finally struck Brute Bonnet with Venoshock, a move that doubles in power whenever the opposing Pokemon is poisoned. Necalli the Flygon was next up for my team against Sada's 4th Pokemon, Sandy Shocks, a double dose of Earthquakes Put down that stupid Magneton abomination. Sada was now forced to call upon Fluttermane 5th as I brought out Vega the Haxorus, the hard-hitting mold-breaking stud from the Unova region. After taking the Shadow Ball, it destroyed Fluttermane in one hit with a powerful Iron Head. Fluttermane's Shadow Ball would have done over half HP or more with a crit if I didn't have Haxorus hold an Assault Vest. Vega's job was done, so my final Pokemon for the final showdown against the final Pokemon of the final boss is Dhalsim, the former Titan known as Tatsugiri, stepping up to the plate against Sada's ace, Roaring Moon, who gets its attack heightened immediately by holding a booster energy to activate photosynthesis. The ancient Salamence struck first with a powerful Dragon Claw. That assuredly should have knocked Tatsugiri out, except I was smart enough to give the sushi monster one of my 3 focus sashes, which came in clutch. It's time for Tatsugiri to deliver some poetic justice. Thanks to that scintillating Draco Meteor that struck Roaring Moon upside its head, I have completed a 3rd consecutive deathless monotype run for fun, conquering Pokémon Scarlet using only Dragon types. What a spectacular way to close out 2024, the year of the dragon, as the ultimate dragon of the Paldea region, Koraidon got its opportunity to finally show what it can do when it took down its bully brother and vanquished the Paradise Protection Protocol. As much as I enjoy shiny hunting in Pokemon games, doing monotype runs for fun to close out 2024 has also been tons of fun, where I've been able to do this at my own pace, and I enjoyed every second of it. To all of you who took the time and wanted to see this for yourself and actually enjoyed it as well, I sincerely thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you love content like this, be sure to leave a like. And if you are a newcomer to this channel, be sure to click on the subscribe button, because every subscription tells me that I am doing something right and will want me to make even more gaming content, and will definitely inspire me to do just that. Hopefully, I got to feature your favorite dragon type in this Pokemon Scarlet Dragon Only run. Let me know what Pokemon that's a dragon type that is your favorite in the comment section below if you so choose. Dragonite is my favorite, and I only got to use it once during this entire run, and I may have gained a new favorite in Archudon. Until next time, take care, God bless you all, thank you again for watching, and keep on shining.